Somewhere along the way, healing stopped being something we did and became something we perform. We announce it, brand it, put it in our bios, use it to explain and sometimes excuse our actions. But if healing never changes how we treat people, are we healing or just becoming fluent in therapy? We're getting into all of that this episode as I've got the Blue Professor, Miss Sassy Red, Jokes on You, and the New Dangerous here as we ask the question, has healing become performative? Stay tuned. Modern Day Bae starts now.
Nah, but for real though, check me out though. Hold on, check me out. Well, it's the MDB, and that's the queendom for me. And if we all up in the queendom, it's about 11 p.m. Eastern time, where you find a whole lot of them dimes on the app. Spark the L and sit back, hit different with 30 rap. Modern Day Bae is like that. Boss Bae, Panda, where you at? Your boy needs some advice with a little bit of laughs. Ella Drug, speak the truth, it don't be lie, no cap. Every Tuesday, I be waiting on that feature. Bright purple ribbon clicking in it, they be preaching. Ella Drug, speak the truth, it don't be lie, no cap. Ella Drug, speak the truth, it don't be lie, no cap. Ella Drug, speak the truth, it don't be lie, no cap. Ella Drug, speak the truth, it don't be lie, no cap. Daddy.
Welcome back to Modern Day Bae, the only live stream podcast exploring self-love and healthy modern day relationships. My name is Elle, the Drug, and we record and release new episodes every Tuesday, so make sure you tap into the live recording every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and listen to the episodes wherever you watch or listen to your podcasts. And while you're listening or watching, make sure you are staying connected with us by liking, subscribing, sharing, all of it, and especially make sure you're following us on Instagram at Modern Day Bae Podcast. If you tapped in a couple minutes into the episode today, we're talking about healing, but not in the traditional way. You see, healing is having a moment. Everybody's healing. Everybody's setting boundaries. Everybody's doing the work. And honestly, that's beautiful. For generations, people were told to suppress their feelings, stay silent, and survive instead of heal. But somewhere along the way, healing started to become a personality trait rather than a tool to be a healthy person. Some of us wear healing like it's designer. We can explain our attachment style, identify our love language, recognize narcissistic traits, and still treat people like shit. We've confused awareness with transformation. Knowing why you hurt people isn't the same as stopping the action. Knowing your trauma doesn't automatically make you accountable. We're getting into all of this and more on this episode. And when we get back, the Boss Bae panel will be here. Stay tuned. All right, you guys, welcome back. This is a Modern Day Bae, and I am here with my team. The Boss Bae panel's in the building, y'all. Yeah.
Hey,
We love the Boss Bae panel. Hello? Yeah. We love the Boss Bae panel. First up to I don't know if it's my right or my left, depending on how you're watching it, but we got the Miss Sassy Red is here, y'all. Hey, girl. Hey. So I have a question for you, girl. If everyone is healed or healing, where are all the healthy people at, girl? Is they really healing out there?
Protecting their peace. Sweaty ass.
From those crawling among.
That's it. Not in the midst of the riffraff. I gotta protect my peace.
The riffraff. Okay, Aladdin.
The riffraff is crazy.
The riffraff is crazy.
Gutter rats. Them gutter rats. Yeah.
You know.
Hello, I'm cracking up. All right. We also have with us tonight the New Dangerous is here, y'all.
Hey.
You are now listening to The New Dangerous.
I just had to get my own drop off. You know?
Yeah, a DJ gonna show off every time, bro. A DJ gonna show off every time.
Hashtag branding.
Not this ninja gonna show me up before I get introduced.
You know before out of turn. Now look at you just causing commotion now.
Yeah, man.
You hit the back of the bus.
Hey, look, you don't want me on the back of the bus. I do my best work back there.
Oh my God, y'all. Dangerous.
Yeah, we here.
If everyone's healed or healing, where they at though?
Or Patreon. I think first of all, everybody's not healing, right? I think people. Well, you said something at the start of this that like everybody's doing the work, and I fundamentally disagree with that. Like, not everybody is doing the work. I think people are talking about the work, but not everybody's actually digging in and doing it. I think so. You know, the reason that you aren't finding healed people is because nobody's truly healed. Like that presumes that there's an endpoint to the process, and it doesn't work that way. It's healing is a process. It's a cycle, series of cycles that continues to happen over our lives. So you're not finding healed people because people ain't healed, and they're not doing the work to be where they should be on their healing journey.
I think, I should have let you go last because that would have been a perfect segue. We just gonna pick right up after these other intros. Okay, y'all give me a good segue, okay? We also have on the Boss Bae panel today, the Blue Professor is here, y'all. Hey, twin.
Hey, twinning.
Twin, you know what I'm saying? How you feeling?
Feeling good, feeling great.
Good. You sound good. Okay, if you know, you know. Twin, where are all the where all the healed people at? Everybody talking about they healing. Everybody talking about they healed. They on the healing journey. Where they at though?
Shoot, you tell me. I'm out here looking for them.
Not your looking.
Listen, there's so many people who want to have this claim that they're healed, and I don't think there's anybody who's ever going to be healed. You're always going to be on a healing journey. You're always going to be searching for what's next. We've talked about this before. It's a pattern. No matter which way you go, there's always something next for you to work on. So all these people claiming out to be healed, you let me know when they show up.
Okay, he said what he said. He said what he said, chat. Finally, we have got the one and only the sharpest. Jokes on You is in the building, y'all. Yeah. Very much. Y'all ain't see him, but he dusted the shirt off his shoulder, okay? Y'all ain't see him. Hi, Jokes. How are you?
I'm well. How are you, Elle? How are you?
I'm doing well. You're looking very dapper. I'm happy that you're here this evening. I want to know what you have. What'd you say?
I said, of course. For Elle, of course.
For Elle, of course. Yes, Jokes. We appreciate that. Okay. Here's my question. Everybody said they healing. Everybody claiming they done went through their healing journey. They healed. They a much better person and version, but I don't see them. Do you know where they're at? What's happening with this? Who's lying?
The healed people are hiding inside in their rooms with their technology, in their shows, in their Love Islands, and all of these things. You know, they're distractions. Everyone who is healed seeks distraction because even though you're healed, that doesn't mean you are capable of taking that next step and going out in the field to play. You know, there's there's a lot of athletes, you know, you might tear an ACL that next year you're not going to be going forward. You're just trying to play through the year to get back to where you were. And then you can go and maybe try to excel after that. So when you heal, you can break your arm, and then after the weeks you take the cast off, are you ready to go back to, you know, playing out on the court or doing all the physical things you might have done before? No, you're going to take it easy for those first few weeks after you take that cast off because you know what you just went through. So, you know, that's just a natural thing to do. And everybody's process is a little different in terms of those scars and how they look at them every day. You know, some scars take a little longer to fade away. And as you look at them, you know, that's the timing and that's the process that everyone has to accept and go through. You can't speed it up. You just have to, you know, look at your scars and be okay with it.
And I think that's a really good point. I think that, definitely people healing takes time. We all refer to it as a journey. Dangerous earlier said it was cycles, continuous cycles, you know what I mean? Going through and going through that. But that it kind of worries me because sometimes it can feel like people can say they're healing when they're not actually doing so. They're just kind of saying it because it seems pretty like trendy right now. I feel like people are building brands. I feel like people are experts on healing and self love because it's a clickbait topic. And in reality, it feels like a lot of folks are falling into taking advice from people who are just perpetuating the rhetoric of therapy, but aren't actually qualified.
First of all, the joke's gonna make me put a tie on that brother. He just shared that was like, oh, okay. I mean, because it's important, right? Like the difference between healing and being healthy is very different, right? Like the two things are not the same. And I mean, I think you're right I think it is right to say that there is a marketplace around the language of healing, right? Like the terminology, the ideas, the concepts. And I think it's a sellable concept, which is why it is what it is, right? Why it's so prominent. You can absolutely sell the idea of healing conceptually to people. And a lot of it ends up, I won't say a lot, I think a good part of it ends up being confirmation bias for folks, right? Like somebody is saying they're reading things that confirm what they believe to be true about themselves and about other people and about how other people have treated them and about how, because I think sometimes healing gets used offensively, right? And when I'm like, it's a cudgel, right? Sort of against other people's sort of presence and the way that they show up. And it strips people of actually asking themselves the really hard questions about why a relationship has turned out the way that it has, right? It gives you the language to say, oh, well, I'm not going to deal with this thing because I'm healing or I'm healed. And it's like, well, there could be more nuance to it, right? Like people are nuanced. There are edges and, ebbs and flows to who people are. And so I think there's some nuance that gets lost in the conversation because of how it gets talked about publicly.
All that. No, seriousness. Like I relate to what you're saying. I mean, in the consciousness of where money can be found, you're gonna find people who are gonna try to make $1 off of it. Healing content is something that you can sell, and people's pain is something that's relatable for folks.
Yeah.
So guess what? When you're a little bit vulnerable, guess what? Now you're clickable. Everybody wants to dive in on this new wave of a healing journey and turn it into a profit. It is the new wave of content for content people who don't have any real content.
Grifters.
It's just easy to be up here and just be vulnerable and just say sad things or say, oh, I'm working on me, or oh, I'm doing this, because everybody will go, oh, he's so powerful, she's so great. And now this person's getting affirmed, and now this person's getting a little bit of an ego with it. And so now this pattern continues because other people want to replicate that same aspect.
And I think what is so interesting about that particular pattern is how that can really turn into what I called it earlier, a personality trait. It's like you can't be you without having that story of healing all the time. And I think that people can fall into that easily in this day and age because it's everywhere. And these terms are becoming more and more misused the more that I see them on the internet.
The thing about it is, I'm like, we've seen it numerous of times to where people don't necessarily, it doesn't even have to be personal. You know what I'm saying? Like Blue is saying, like, as long as it's relatable, I can convey to you other people's issues, trauma, things that they've gone through and maybe maybe they talk to me about it. You know what I mean? It necessarily doesn't have to come from my personal experience, but that's the thing. People tend to think like, okay, because you're the person giving this information, you must be the one who has gone through all of these things, when it could just be somebody that's feeding you this information. Like you're getting it from somebody, you're reading it from somebody, you're listening to, you know what I mean? Like you're the one not really, kind of doing the research, but not doing the work. Like You know what's going on behind the scenes and what's going on with everybody else, but that doesn't mean like I'm the one that's actually going through these things to where I know what the end result is. I could probably just get the experience from somebody else.
Mm. Is that something you can do with self-love? Is that something with healing? Not even self-love, healing. Is that something that like, because I definitely believe that you can learn through other people's mistakes, but I don't know if you can learn to heal through what you hear other people say.
Right.
Like that's just a piece
But that's
of
what
it.
makes it performative.
Yeah.
If you're in a position to where you're telling people all of these things, at some point it doesn't get real, or I won't know the real. Because the thing is, if you're doing the work, if you're doing the healing, that means you have to dig deep. So that means you got to tell me something deeper than, what somebody told you. If I'm going on this long journey of, depression or whatever, and you're supposed to be the one that's healing me, I'm like, I need more than just surface level. I need more than what was just told to you. If somebody's just feeding you the information, you just know what they told you. But as it gets deeper, as I want to get the training, as I want to get the proper tools, you got to come with that. Because if you don't, then that's the telltale. You're not really that deep. You're not really that informative about what's going on and about what you're conveying, because you're getting it from somebody else and not from within.
She nailed that, right? I mean, I think a lot of what can happen is that people are like aggregators, right? They are aggregating other people's experiences and turning it into content to profit for themselves. And I want to be clear. I don't think that is inherently a bad thing, right? I think there can be lessons learned from the space that exists now, where people have greater access to more information to help them better understand their own experiences, right? I think the challenge comes in when, and I think this is almost the inverse of what Jokes was saying, like when people find themselves trapped in a space, like physical space, right, where you just scrolling this content that is reaffirming problematic beliefs, right? Like things that may be in the way of you getting back onto the court, right? Like if you a hooper and all you watching is content of what players are like after they tore their Achilles, and that's making you scared to get back on the court, like that's not helpful, right? Like you're healing, right? And you could play, but you scared to play because all you like been consuming is this content that tells you that it's not gonna work.
So that's what Derrick Rose was watching that whole time, huh?
Yo, no, Derrick Rose had a different problem. He couldn't land. That was his problem. The boy didn't know how to land. But I think that's like the challenge, right? Is that people consume so much of this stuff. Like if that's your diet exclusively, it can keep you from getting healthy. You may be healing, but you're not getting healthy, and that's different.
You getting full,
Yeah,
but you
fill
eating
up on
empty
McDonald's.
calories.
Yeah, you eating 2 20-piece nuggets every day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I think that beautifully illustrates the performative aspect. Jokes, I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
Growing up, we saw the Ricky Lakes, the Jerry Springers. We saw these things where they were breaking up the relationships, and that was glorified, right? And so why can't it be performative for the healing aspect? Now they have beat that horse, or beat that drum, till you can't beat it no more. And I think that now they have to go to the opposite side, because we've been fed that for so long. We're not receiving that type of content anymore. Now we have to receive this because it's different.
Right, like kind of going back on the other side of the scale to like weigh out what we've been taking in so long.
Yeah, because you had that, but you did have the Lifetime, right? You had the Lifetime but what kind of movies did they show all the time? It was always like something happening to somebody bad, or it was like, somebody burglary or something, then something happened to the mom and something like that. It was always the same thing. But you had both sides of the content growing up. Like, okay, if you get in a relationship, you better make sure it's solid. Otherwise, you're gonna end up on one of these shows. Instead of somebody gonna put your business out there, right? But now we're on social media, and like, everybody's just used to being on camera, so it's so different to how private we used to be about our relationships and how we used to covet our character and our integrity in public with our relationships, you
Yeah.
know? So now we can show that, hey, I'm not okay, and everybody's going to give us a hug. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think something that's super interesting, Sassy, when you were talking, you had said something about like, that's the telltale. Like you're just repeating it. There's no weight behind the words. These are just the words that you're repeating. And I think that's what's interesting because there are some people that do get caught, right? Like there are the Cheyenne Bryants, right? There are what's his name? Derek Jackson.
Jackson,
Hell
yeah.
yeah, girl. You know we had to bring his ass
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
That man. But anyway,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, that was troublesome.
that was crazy. That was like he did what to who?
I'm sure that's not sustainable.
Crazy. It wasn't.
No.
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 What's up, Lito? Yeah, no, that's it wasn't sustainable. But that's what's so interesting about performing because some people do get caught. Some people do run out of longevity and they are able to, get caught up in whatever dual personality they're living. But some people don't. Some people don't get caught. Some people have the stamina to keep the performance going. And for those who do, that is extremely harmful. And I want to talk about that harm a little bit because whenever you put yourself on a platform to speak to people about specifically mental wellness and being good with who you are, if you don't have anything backing that up or any actual real like things that work, right? Tried and true, tested, researched, it makes it very difficult for there to be validity in what you're not only a validity in what you're saying for you as a brand, but to the people you're talking to. Because what if you give really bad, like a really bad piece of advice, and this person goes and listens to you because this is their introduction into mental wellness or into their healing journey, right? And they're just taking, so those things can be very harmful. Do you all agree with that, or is that just a me thing? Because I get fired up about that portion of it.
I wouldn't look at it to be harmful. I mean, it could be. I can see in a way how it could be harmful, but then at the same time, that also means you as the person have to do your research. You know what I'm saying? Like, say if you're a new person and you're like, hey, I want to look into being healed. I want to, at some point, if you're not going to a mentor, somebody that may state that they know about these things, you would have to also be the one to also research what's going on, what's taking place. It's just like if you know what I mean? Like you still have to have some knowledge about what it is that information that you're wanting to get. You can't just go off of what everybody else is saying, but at some point it just depends on how you're gaining your information.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like some people will be like, okay, well, I'm going to go to this mentor and then the things that they're saying, I'm going to believe it. Some people will do the back work to be like, hey, let me do a fact check. And let me also read about some of these things and try to get the knowledge and know the knowledge for myself. And I feel like that's the only real way that you'll, at least get that understanding. Because I'm like, some people just go off of what other people are saying just because they feel it's like, okay, well, you're the one stating that you're this expert. I'm going to come to you.
And that's my fear is that people stop there because their version of research is scrolling. Do you get what I mean? Like they're like things are just very different these days.
I mean, I think the thing for me is like context matters, right? And I think what is easy to lose in like the clip culture, right? Because I think some of the ways we're talking about this is in this notion of social media
For sure.
space, right? I think what I want to say first with Cheyenne Bryant, like what she does with her clients behind closed doors may not necessarily look exactly the same as it does when she's on a podcast, right?
Yeah.
She's on, this platform. I believe that she is helping people. I believe that there are people out there who will tell you that working with her has helped them, right? And so I don't think she's not an expert on what she's an expert on. I just think she's not an expert on everything that she thinks she's an expert on, right? Like, which to me, there's some nuance there. Like you could be an expert on what you're an expert on, and you can also not be an expert on some of the stuff that you think you're an expert on because you just haven't done that work specifically. I don't have a problem with with Cheyenne Bryant, Doctor, we're gonna use air quotes, Bryant, doing what she does for people, right? Because I think there's value in just having a place to put things for people sometimes, right? And having a sounding board, somebody to reality test scenarios with, who has done this kind of work with a lot of people, right? Like she's got a client base, so it's not like she don't, she just walked up one day and decided she was going to help somebody, and it was one person, and now she's saying she's Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. Like she's got a history of helping people, apparently, right? That's what she does. So I am not offended by the notion of her doing that. I think it's different when you are holding yourself out as somebody who's got a very specific expertise that requires a credential that you don't have. Right, like that's a very different thing. Like you can go to there are folks who practice medicine in ways that are different than the traditional practice of medicine, full stop, right? They are not doctors, but they are practitioners of a kind of healing process, right? And so if you're looking for that and you know somebody that's got it and they good at that, then you should go seek that out, right? But I don't think that, for me, like what gives me pause is the way that people consume small bits of information and extrapolate it to like unrelated scenarios, right? Like you got, you making 100% of the decision with 50% of the facts, and that's like, that's where the trouble comes in. You see something and it's like, oh man, this is 37 seconds that explains my entire love history, and it's like, well, blood, I don't know if that's, like 100%, like, because the person you used to date is doing the same thing in their space, right? So y'all two people who seeing your relationship in 37-second clips and ignoring the entire arc of what you have both been through before each other, what you went through with each other, and what you've been through post each other. And all of that matters in helping you understand, one, what your healing is going to look like, right? What you actually need to be healing from, and when you can actually say you're healthy.
I think that's part of my concern.
Sure.
Because I think that a lot of people will go through something and start their healing journey. But as we know, a healing journey doesn't necessarily have an end or a destination. It has a level, right? But it doesn't necessarily have an end. And I think that people don't actually, what I'm concerned about is people not actually doing the healing, but just becoming aware of what healing is, or that process, right? And then we get into a place where we're looking at awareness as a transformation. That's how I spoke about it earlier. We're looking at awareness, just being aware of what is around you and the situation and the situations you put yourself in, as the healing. And it's like, well, I know this about myself, but how do you then get out of that? How do you then break those habits, right? Because that's where the work starts. The awareness is great, and it's a huge portion of beginning, but that's not the transformation. And shout out to Nikki 24/7, Boss Babe Palace. Nikki 24/7 is in here, y'all. If y'all don't stop, y'all know we record this live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. So, make sure you tap in on the TikTok or on the YouTube, wherever you're watching, wherever you want to watch from, and check us out live, because we do this live. We record live so that you can get in on the conversation as well. So make sure you tap in for that. Hey, Nikki, what's up, girl? But yeah.
Dr. Nikki.
The good Dr. Nikki, Dr. Chef.
The good doctor. Yeah.
but we go into this place of awareness masked as healing, and that's what I am truly concerned about.
I just feel like we know of people like coming from where we've come from. We've sat in many a lives. We've seen, we've experienced these people that, make it seem as though they're so well, like you said, aware of these things. But at some point, with knowing what you know, right, about healing and all of those things, like at some point, like because you've done the research, because you've had the conversations, you can see a fraud when they show up.
That's very true.
You be like, it's something deeper. It's something deeper than that. You can't just say that and then you don't have it. That's the thing. At some point, it's so surface level. I feel like when you know of that thing, it's a deeper process This is why they say you have to do the work. You can't just say like, oh, I'm out here doing the work. And you know what I mean? But then after that comes more questions. Okay, well, what work have you done? What happens? What takes place? And if you
Nothing.
you don't have no answers, you like, okay, well, hold on, this ain't seeming legit. It just seems like you're a little flustered to where you can't answer these questions, but you've done the work. You've done the healing. You've helped other people. So the proof will show. If not, then you are the facade. People will then see that. Like you can, unless you're just this. And I think that's the thing. The harm comes from you as the individual. If you're the individual that hasn't taken the time to do the research, to look into those things, you're harming yourself because you're just going off of someone's word. You need more than that. You need to seek those things for yourself to know what it is.
I don't think people want to necessarily do that all the time, though. So I don't know if it always falls within self, because if you have a person who's already in a vulnerable state and I'm in a room and I'm saying all the things that they want to hear to affirm them or make them to feel better, they're going to start to think that they feel better and they're going to trust me. There's so many dangers that's around that aspect. That person who's sitting on the side of the fence that's having to put this mask on to pretend to be who they are, guess what? That mask starts to fit too well and you can't take that mask off anymore. Now you're stuck. The person who's on the other side, who's vulnerable, who's just seeking out to try to find something that's just going to heal that broken heart that they have, or heal that hurt that they have in any way, shape, or form, just hearing some soft words of, oh yeah, I went through something similar. Oh, you know, I did this and this is what I did. And shit sounds nice, but to your point, there is no real work that has been done. And guess what? That person doesn't care, because that person feels better. As long as that person is feeling better, that's all that matters to them. They got their fix. They're chasing a euphoria that they have to make themselves go on another day potentially. And people are out here seeking that. And if you're that person, I feel bad for you, but that research is not going to be done until, again, that self-love comes into place, where you start to realize, maybe what this person's saying is a little far-fetched, because, you know, they have all these like hurt things, but they have all these people around here cheering them on. They always seem to be happy. They never really seem to have ever really had a sad mood. Hell, I don't even think they got a damn paper cut. But they're out here giving knowledge of telling me how to heal myself. But I digress.
No, you don't digress either, brother. You ingress? What? Ingress? Address? You know, all the dresses, you know, pause. But yeah, man, I think Blue nailed it, and I think Sassy did too, right? And because we know people like right now who like, I'm on my healing journey, and you just in Turks. Like, girl, you just on vacation. Like, and that's okay. Like,
Just in Turks.
yeah, like you just went on vacation. Like, and that's okay to, like, it's okay to say I had a traumatic experience and now I'm going to travel. Like, all right, girl, I'm happy for you. You know what I mean? Like, go do your thing. And also when you get back, like, dig in, right? Like, because I think sometimes folks feel like healing is realizing what you don't want, right? Like we limit it to this very small, finite universe of things. Like, I'm healed, so I know what I don't want. Healing helps you understand who you are and what you bring to the table, the ways in which you both contribute to and receive, right? Cause and sort of get, you know, are impacted by trauma. Right. And so if you're not willing to do the hard work of unpacking the trauma, as opposed to just saying, I'm getting some distance from it. Like, the healing isn't just getting, you know, further away from a thing. Right. You're like, hey, look, it's been 6 months since that, you know, since this relationship ended. I am healing. Well, actually, what you've done over those 6 months, right, is convince yourself that there were zero contributions by you to whatever the cause of the conflict was, right? To affirm for yourself that you were not the problem, and to put yourself in a position where the next person has to deal with this version of you that is calloused and angry and still very much so anchored in what happened to you, as opposed to the version of you who has processed that trauma and is showing up differently as a function of it, right?
Jesus.
Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes folks become more of what they don't want to be, more of what they don't want in their partner in the process of healing themselves because they're not challenging themselves in the process, right? You
Ooh.
just, like you're not challenging yourself to grow. You're not pushing yourself outside of your own understanding to say, okay, let me actually go and this gives credence to your point, L, right? Let me go partner with somebody
Mm-hmm.
who knows how to do this,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? Like this is actually above my level of functioning
Mm-hmm.
to handle individually, right? I need some support in this process and go partner with whoever it is. It could be somebody in your faith community. It can be a professional. It can be somebody with some letters behind their name, right? It can be any number of folks. But if you just, like doing posts, like get ready with me posts, right? You know what I mean? Like, baby, that's not healing. I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know how to tell you this, fam.
Now get ready
You're
with
not
me.
healing. You're creating content,
Mm-hmm.
which is a business and a profit center, and I hope it's lucrative for you, right? I love it for like if you turn your pain into some money, right? May all your pain be champagne, right? And also, it's not that isn't the kind of healing that puts you in a position where you come out on the other side of it healthy. You come out on the other side of it different, but you may not be healthy.
Yeah. I love that. That's what I was thinking about whenever you were talking is
Okay,
the
that was
other
good.
side, right? You have to be
Yeah.
able to put yourself
And
through
like,
the fire to get to the other side because healing your trauma and all that that's not what defines you. How you come back from it does. And that's the
Yeah.
part. A lot of us
Yeah.
don't know how to come back from it.
At
I
all.
remember feeling like I'm never going to be myself again. I remember having those thoughts after experiencing something, right? I'm never going to be myself again. This person broke me. And that was how I felt at the time, but if I had just you can't stop there. I think it's okay to have those thoughts. I think it's okay to feel defeated. I think it's okay to want to isolate some or to take your time to get back out there, to Jokes' point earlier, to take your time to
Yeah.
get back out there as you're being gentle with yourself. But if you stay there, what do you accomplish? If you stay
Right.
there, how do you become the purposeful person that you were called and that you feel you're called to be? Also, I feel like the self-love community sometimes this was kind of my problem that I had with the other side. I feel like sometimes it can feel disingenuous because everybody is
That's
like,
what you talking about.
yeah, yeah, that's it. It can become like an echo chamber. And like that's why I
It
really
is an echo
it
chamber.
is an echo chamber. And that's one of the things that I really appreciate about the people that I have around me. I do not like to be told that I did a good job if something wasn't good. Don't do not extend that as something that like I should be proud of. No, you did well. You did better than last week, but you still need to work on this. You need to work on this. You need to work on this. And once you do all of those things, it'll position you to do this, which is something that I know you want to do. Those are the people that I like to have around me, and that's part of my problem.
Patreon.
Patreon. That's part of the
Yeah.
problem for me though when it comes to this like the self-love community.
I don't believe none of these niggas, honestly. Like, yeah, like,
No, none of
I'm
them.
just, like
Or
straight
maybe
up.
a couple, maybe one or two. There will be many false prophets. That has been written.
So let me go biblical. I know that's right.
There will be
Yeah,
many
that
false
cognitive
prophets,
on.
but
Yeah.
I think that people seek attention. They want to set trends. They want to be important to someone. There's one part of it. Why you laugh, Sassy? It's true.
I
You
know.
know,
I'm just thinking about
you
the people
know
we
those
know.
people.
Yeah.
Those people that only get reactions from animals. You know,
Jesus Christ.
Damn.
What? They only get reactions from animals?
Damn.
Dog.
those are. I mean,
Like what kinds
the
of
type of
reactions from animals?
the ones that they're seeking. You know, like I care about the space that you're in. I care what happens to you when you walk around that corner. Like you have to
So
give.
Snow
It's
White?
real
Like what?
personal.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
crazy work. Yeah.
They need somebody chasing after their every word. They're used to having people listen to them, and when somebody takes that away or cuts it off, no, we
That
need
seems
more of that.
inconsolable.
They think one person. See, I'm gonna tell you what happened now. One person told them, "Yeah, yeah, you're right." One person did that, and that's all it took.
And look, there's a lot
It
of
was
people out
enough.
there. Look, there's so many people that ran
Yeah.
through my mind when you said that. I'm like, yep, one was
Because
enough.
people are really good at being stupid in bunches, right? Like we real
Yeah,
good at being stupid in groups. Like and
yeah.
all it like it's so easy for people to like it's why cult culture works, right? Because people want something. Like there are so many folks out here who are seeking a connection to something that is not themselves, and so they will attach themselves to whatever feels right for them. Right? Like, oh yeah, this is it. I want to be with these folks. These folks are saying the words that I like to hear. You know what I mean? Like these people are doing the things that I think I should be doing, and I
Yes.
believe that this the yes, Nikki. He who shall not be named, all of the he's who shall not be named, deplatform all abusers, period. And I think that what ends up happening is that people buy what is being sold simply because they got money to spend. Right, like you got money to spend, so you like I need an idea to buy, so let me buy this idea because this one seemed good, right? This seemed like a good idea, and then you get into it, and the stuff, the walls start to kind of crumble. You get in the house, and that's actually black mold up there in that corner. I should have inspected this place before I moved in here, and now you sick, and you put yourself in this spot,
Yeah.
right? With this culture and this community and this circle of folks who really aren't actually doing anything, right? They all just humping each other and and telling lies, right? Like there's somebody using this platform that they have built for themselves
Goodness.
to essentially sell a version of like their own story that is demonstrably false if you just do the research, right? So to Jokes' point, like there will always be false prophets. The Lord didn't say the weapons wouldn't form against you. He just said they wouldn't prosper, that is different, right? Like the weapons are going to form, and whether or not you allow them to prosper, right, is a choice you got to make with you and whatever God you believe in.
I think too that is one of the things that concerns me. To your point, is just I think it was Blue who said something earlier about I just have to be vulnerable, right? I can just or pretend to be vulnerable, and that attracts more vulnerability. That attracts a certain type of person, right? And if you're not careful, and this is what I mean by harmful when I was speaking about it earlier, if you're not careful, you can use your vulnerability to bring out someone else's. And it can be, whether it's intentional or not, predatory, right? Many times it is intentional, but sometimes people have good intentions, but you don't realize how your misinformation is actually predatory because you're feeding someone with information that makes them feel good in the moment. They're building trust in you, to Twin's point earlier. They're building trust in you. They're building maybe community with you. And the people around you don't know no better. So they're just going with what you say. So now we've created an echo chamber. We've created a cult in those steps. It makes it very, very attainable. And it is worrisome to me. And I guess because you all know, we've seen it happen, with people who very clearly, in my opinion, do not deserve to have that platform or do not deserve to have that much influence. I don't even give a fuck about the platform. It's the influence that the platform comes with. Like, I don't care if you want to be famous and you're not doing nothing and you just up there listening to me. Like, I don't care about that. But like, it's your influence that I have a problem with, you know? So a thousand toes down, deplatform abusers. I'm totally with Dangerous on that. And I think that the way that we do that is by actually digging into the transformation, not the awareness, the actual healing journey, the transformative part, the part where you sit with yourself, the part where you reflect with yourself, the part where you do go out and put your feet in the grass because you need to feel grounded, the part where you do thank your ancestors for what may feel like a shitty day, but you look for the good in that. That is how you do that. It makes me very worried for what could come of this movement or this trend, because long run, big picture, it's dangerous. Shout out to you, Dangerous.
Hey. Done it all, done it all,
Dun,
done it
dun,
all,
dun,
done it
dun.
all. Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right, El. I mean, I do think there's a difference between predation and opportunism, right?
Okay.
And, like I think that, predation is intent, right? Opportunism is, oh, here's a chance for me to do a thing that I wasn't expecting to be able to do, but here it is right here. You know
Right.
what I mean? And so I think sometimes folks, and I don't even know if folks always understand that the way that they're showing up is like vulnerability, right? I don't think folks always understand that part of it. And I also think that other people misread opportunism as vulnerability, right? Like you're like, we like somebody hearing your story, like if somebody is a sociopath, right, or has a particular pattern of manipulation or mistreating folks, and they hear certain things, that is going to trigger the predatory instinct, right? And so they're going to mirror whatever you given them because they know that that is what is going to get them closer to the opportunity to predate, right? Like that is the whole, that's the schema, right? It's like, oh man, yeah, I'm looking for people who should, oh yeah, she said thing, but he said this thing, and now I'm gonna mirror that energy because I want you to get close, because I need to be able to do whatever my next step is. Maybe it's a parasitic a parasitic or parasocial relationship where we are like, I'm feeding off of this relationship in a way, right? Or this person is feeding off of the connection to me in a way to sustain themselves because they aren't healing. They are choosing actively to not heal and instead surround themselves with people and things that make them feel good about exactly where they are right now. Exactly where they are right now. Goodness, I don't know what just happened. But yeah, but that's what happens, right? Folks anchor themselves in the present, seek out folks who affirm the truth of them that they want to believe. Whether or not it is functionally true, like objectively true, is something different, right? Like you might actually be a piece of shit, right? Like you could just be a bad person. Sometimes you just a bad person, and you
Message.
can become a less bad person if you do the work,
Yeah.
right? But if everything that you are seeking out actively is confirmation of your behavior being the acceptable version of conduct and the other person's behavior being the unacceptable version of conduct, you will never get to healing because you're not trying to find the center, right? You are not at all interested in it, in moving yourself closer to a perspective that's different than the one that you already have,
Despite being aware.
despite being aware. Al,
Dangerous out here cooking, y'all. He cooking.
Yeah, it is. You can't put your trust in men and man, and I think that's
I
been
agree,
said.
Jokes. I think we should end with that. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, but but but
Oh,
but
jokes,
you
you
can't
you
wait
out the
wait
club,
jokes,
bro.
let
You out the
jokes got
club.
you. Yeah,
see
jokes.
but the thing is,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you can't put the trust in the words, and what I mean by that say that is if you're a person that's been through something and you see some content like that, why are you following a person who makes bad decisions like that? Why can't you just accept the fact? I mean, we must just accept the fact that there are people that we must let them stay in the quicksand. We don't have to pull them out. You know, once you, I have a real see. I don't have a fear of water or anything like that. If it's in the middle of concrete, but once we get into open water, see, I have this rule. I'm as comfortable as I am comfortable, not as you are. So if you're comfortable with doing certain things that may put yourself at risk, I'm telling you in the beginning, I'm not comfortable with this. Don't expect me to put myself at risk. Okay. So if you're going to listen to someone and you see, oh, yeah, I'm going through something, no, where is your process? Why does your process include someone reviewing someone else before yourself? Why are you putting someone else in the middle of your process? You people need to renew their minds. People that have reprobate minds or minds that are stuck. You cannot save them. You cannot help them. So their influence, you can influence pigs. It's fine. It's fine. You okay? It's right to slaughter. and that's where they go, and that's part of a process too,
Oh my god.
because worms got to eat.
Dang.
Listen,
Not to
listen.
read.
Wow.
It is what it is. Some people are going to go feed to what they want to feed to. You know, when you go fishing, I don't know if you've ever been fishing, there's certain bait that you have to use for certain fish.
Right.
Okay.
A fact.
And some fish are just crazy over certain types of bait. Okay. But you know, the best bait is when you put a stick in the ground and you start making vibrations and the worms come out of the ground, and the worms that they naturally eat on an everyday basis, the ones that they can taste the most, the ones they like the most, they're going to go to that and get to that bait first, rather than the one that you bought out there. So when you see people on these social platforms and they're giving you all this, oh, I've been through this and I've been through that, and you're accepting it, that's on you. You know what I mean? Like that's really on you. You know from the beginning why they are there. You know from the very beginning why they are there.
Mm,
But you still go anyways because you want to see who fell apart and how they did.
He nailed it, right? Like,
yeah.
the bait you use will absolutely determine the fish you
Well,
catch. And
absolutely.
some folks know exactly what kind of bait to put out there to catch the same sucker fish every day. They know
Suckerfish.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, they know
Dang.
exactly
Come on,
what to
somebody.
do to catch the
Mm.
same, because it's a tried and true formula, right? And and sometimes and also sometimes people have to experience really crappy things to recognize how much healing work
Mm-hmm.
needs to happen,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like sometimes you got to go through some shit to realize that to properly contextualize your own challenges. You got to, like, if you're a person who I over this, I over that, and you get into a situation and you really got to pay a penalty for being over that thing, like whatever that thing is you do too much of. Like maybe you got to bump. Sometimes you got to, kind of hit your head on the ceiling to realize that you're too big for the room you in, right?
Mm,
And that happens to folks, and sometimes those folks actually do the work, and sometimes those folks become a cult of personality themselves because that is who they are,
yeah.
right? Like they build. Like when I think about Cheyenne Bryant, what I think about specifically is a girl born in the projects who learned how to hustle, who turned what her ability to hustle generally into a legitimate business where she is hustling people in to come tell her their problems, and she's got some perspective and some understanding and a version of the world that she can sell to people that they are looking to buy,
Mm,
right? It's just the hustle, dog. Like, and I'm not mad at the hustle. If she's helping people with the hustle, great, but a hustle's still a hustle.
mm. Yeah, I was in here cooking tonight. I want you to tell the people, along with where they can find you and all that fun stuff, how can we make sure we don't fall into the performance of healing?
Thank you. Okay. Of course, this is your girl, Miss Sassy with some cool kind of stuff. Okay. And if you can't find me here, you also know that you can find me on Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah. During the
Hey,
weekly fix. So basically, to me, I really feel like it starts with self. You know what I mean? I definitely feel like awareness is a big part of it. You know what I mean? If you're not in a position of being aware of what a fraud looks like,
Mm,
you'd have to get into practice. Like you have to start with you to do the research as to how you're going to get more knowledge or how you're going to get more information about these things instead of listening from these other people. Not saying that you can't also come from these avenues, but I'm like, you have to know for yourself. So when somebody else is giving you something, when somebody else is giving you information, you know how to weed it out.
mm.
Like, no, what you're talking about is fraudulent because I read X, Y, and Z. Because I also researched X, Y, and Z. Like, do your homework. Know for yourself.
Oh man. Oh well, I have to think. It's jokes on you right now. Y'all can find me right here until I make my way on TikTok at a different time. But for now, find me Tuesdays on Modern Day Bay, and yeah, or wherever you guys need me to be. That's just how I roll. But um in terms of not being performative, don't overshare. You know, keep some stuff to yourself. You know, you won't be performative if just sit back and listen. Sometimes you're quick to speak and say things, and sometimes you know it's better to be thinking thought of a fool than speak and remove all doubt.
All right, y'all. It's your boy, the Blue Professor, your favorite Sigma on all social media. You can catch me here, there, and everywhere, but you can especially catch me on Tuesday here at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, either in the panel or in the comments. Either way, we're going to have a good time. Still working on foodie content as always. Still working on being the big back that I am. And as far as, all things are considered, just do the work for yourself so you don't get caught up being the clown that you see in the mirror. That's it.
Ooh.
Jesus Christ, you boys are not playing today. Jesus.
Well, golly.
Yeah, goodness gracious. All right, well, I am the new Dangerous. You can catch me every Tuesday and Thursday, 6 p.m. for Cruise Control, the Endless Mix Show on this app. I promise I'm going to start doing it again when I get my attitude together. You can also catch me every Monday, starting next Monday, with the good Dr. Nikki 24/7 for Thumb on the Scale, the illest political podcast to ever touch any of these here streaming platforms.
Yeah.
And I think if you want to be less performative and more intentional about your healing, I think what is really important is that you focus less on being right and more on being healthy.
I love it. Amazing advice, amazing gems from our Boss Bae panel tonight. Thank y'all so much. We're going to get into Elle Said It. This is the portion of the show where I give you my thoughts and key takeaways about tonight's topic. And earlier, I said healing is becoming a personality trait. That is how I feel, but that's not how it should be. All right. You see, healing isn't a trend. It isn't a vocabulary test or a social media aesthetic. Healing is supposed to make your life and the lives of the people who love you better, healthier. Growth isn't proven by how well you explain yourself. It's proven by how differently you show up. Anyone can learn the language of healing, but few practice the discipline of it, even those who position themselves otherwise. Real healing doesn't just change the story you tell about your pain. It changes the way you handle power, conflict, intimacy, disappointment, and ultimately love. So maybe the focus isn't, am I healing? Maybe the redirection is, do my actions align with the person I feel called to be? And is that reflected in the people closest to me? Because healing was never meant to become who you are. It was meant to help you become who you were always capable of being. And when they ask you,
who told you that?
You tell them, Elle said it. All right. Thank you for listening to this episode of Modern Day Bae. A big thank you to the team, the Boss Bae panel, the Blue Professor, Miss Sassy Red, Jokes on You, and the New Dangerous, all here tonight. Thank you so much. A big shout out also to DJ Rich Beats, the official Modern Day Bae DJ, Barry, our admin and talent producer, Lito, our audio and visual coordinator, and thank you for tuning us, especially the live audience who tapped into the live. Thank you for another episode of Modern Day Bae. Make sure you tap in every weekday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Drug Radio live on TikTok, especially on Fridays for the Weekly Fix with me and Miss Sassy Red, all right? We'll see y'all on Friday. Well, not this Friday, but usually on Fridays, all right? Until then, my name is Elle, the Drug, and remember to protect your peace, not just hear it online. I don't just say that. I mean that when I say that, all right? Protect your peace. Walk in your worth and live well. All right? We will see you soon.
Hey.